political fatigue after years in power, and would replacing her even make a difference before the election clock runs out? Now, in this particular topic, Sharon, Nigerians speculated right. They said, and I quote, that one day, that she would definitely come back to Nigeria begging, and that she will cry and nobody will hear her tears or hear her cry. And it's as if this is more like the beginning of her end.
Hey.
Now, I remember then we raised this topic. We saw this topic on the headlines and we were discussing it. And I told you that this particular lady, Kemi Badenoch, her roots, I know, is from Nigeria, Yoruba to be precise. And why is it that every given opportunity she has in the media, she always try as much as possible to tarnish the image of Nigerians? Yes, I said that time that I understand the fact that, I mean, Nigeria is terrible, the system is terrible. But why is it that even when you don't ask her advice or her recommendation on anything that has to do with Nigeria, she always come up with Nigeria? She mentioned the Nigerian police when she was never asked anything about Nigerian police. She said that the Nigerian police are very terrible, that they are terrible beings, that she remember that they stole her brother's watch and his shoes. Nobody asked her this question. She raised it up. So every opportunity she gets, she always tries to underreport Nigeria. And it's as if the god of Nigeria
that cannot fight for your
that cannot fight
is now fighting.
Is now fighting. Okay. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. But like I felt bad that she was actually tarnishing her roots. We get the fact that a lot of things are going on in Nigeria, but I mean, nobody asked you.
Can I give my
And I'm coming. And now this time around, we are seeing that even her own party that she is fighting so hard for, she is trying a lot. I remember, was it last 2 weeks, that she was talking about deporting about 150 illegal immigrants, which she didn't even have or provide any fiscal plan for them. So they are now seeing her as incompetent to lead the, what is it called, the Conservative Party. Sharon, let me hear you. If you leave me, I go talk. I no go finish today.
So I don't believe in sentimental politics. I don't believe in mixing sentiments with politics or doing the right thing. So for people like Kemi Badenoch who have disassociation, right? There is a term mentally as well, where you disassociate yourself with either a certain tribe or a certain thing. You just disassociate yourself, even though you might be from that place, or you should normally be associated to that person or that environment or that tribe or whatever. Now, for Kemi Badenoch, who has spent all her life outside Nigeria, not all her life, majority of her life outside Nigeria, and with the type of country that we have, apart from the fact that I'm not the type of person that would force people to buy into my own ideology, I am not the type of Christian even that would come and defend God. Neither am I the type of person that would come and force you to buy into my own ideology. So because I believe a certain thing, I'm not going to force someone else to believe that. Now, where all of this started from was if you can remember, Kemi Badenoch said that it started from the immigration and her not being Nigerian, and her saying that her children cannot even come back to Nigeria and all of that because she has to get visa even though she's from Nigeria and she's of a Nigerian descent and all of that. So this is where it all emanated from. And I would like us to recall that Nigerians felt as though she was not proud of her heritage and she was disassociating herself from them, and I understand that. And no matter how bad the country is, we have sentimental attachments to our motherland, and they just did not feel as though she was portraying that. But at the end of the day, I am not going to detect how somebody should express themselves, or because I am not part of her life, I don't know what exactly has happened to her, because when she was narrating her story, when she was in Nigeria and all of that, people process things differently. If I am the relative of Somi that died recently and I'm abroad, I am not going to be speaking well of Nigeria. I'm not sorry about that. If I have had if it was my brother or my sister that was part of the people that died during NSAS, I will not speak good of you when I go outside. If I lost an uncle to Christians that die daily in the north, I am not going to say. So apart from let's just think this thoroughly, holistically. You feel bad. She also feels bad. She feels that she has not gotten the best out of her country. And I remember when we had this conversation, I am not speaking for Kemi Badenoch, no. But when we had this conversation initially, I said to us here that she has her own story, right? She knows what she has gone through. Now, Nigerians coming to celebrate, that is us being petty. I don't even, is Nigerians going to be, they are going to be Nigerians.
Love those things.
Yes,
exactly.
So they are going to be petty. But at the end of the day, I don't see how this reflects on her politically. I don't see Nigerians, it's not Nigerians that make up that conservative party. So that's not even holding water. It's the UK, except you have a dual citizenship and you are part of the party, you're a political party holder or a player in the UK, then fine. But you coming out to say, which I know is you reflecting the thoughts of Nigerians on social media, that oh, she's getting a cup, a taste of her own tea. Yes, she's being rejected. But if you look at it, right, 46% is a whole lot. It's a huge percentage, right? It is almost half, not half. So if almost half of her party wants her to remain, fine. No. And you know another thing,
they don't want her to remain.
It's 46%.
Okay, 46%.
It's almost half of our party that want her there. And you know, you said something, right? And this is why I always say I don't play sentimental politics. When we talk about Donald Trump and how you would say, okay, he is not thinking about how this would affect Nigerians. And I remember telling you that for Donald Trump, he will always say Americans first. For Kemi Badenoch, she doesn't identify as Nigerian, right? She's a UK citizen and she's identifying with them. So she is going to work in the best interest of the person or the country she's identifying with. Let the politicians in your own country work for your best. You mentioned the God of, let us pray to him to work for the best of us Nigerians.
Okay. Remember that I was actually talking based on what Nigerians, I mean the reactions of the entire Nigeria. But let's move over to the party. Now, Robert Jenrick, who is supposed to be her successor, we're already seeing that he is stopping in the polls. And for Kemi Badenoch, it's not really a good, sight for her. It doesn't speak well of her party. And the fact that her own party are even kind of having mixed feelings if she should retain or remain in that particular position. What do you think might have caused this? Why is it that they are having this feeling like, okay, I think it's time for another person to take over? Let me even bring to your notice that even before she came into seat, what's his name? The former one, is it Sunak? He resigned from his office because of some internal issues, and I think the party actually brought her in. They voted her because of the fact that they felt that she could sort out those internal issues. But we are seeing now that it may seem as though that she didn't do so. So we are seeing people trying to more like have this mixed feelings that she might not, or she does not have what it takes to retain or remain in that position. What do you think caused that?
Even if Jesus comes down and becomes a politician, there are going to be a lot of people that will not like him. In fact, there were people that didn't like him. Or any other person. If an angel comes and wants to rule, there will be people that would oppose him. You have Donald Trump now in the US. There are a lot of people that love Donald Trump, but there are also a lot of people that don't love him. People that have problems with him. So what I'm trying to say is, this is a politician. And this is politics. Now, there is no how. It's not possible. Even the Mr. P2B in Nigeria now, just using him as an example, There are lots of people who don't like Mr. P2B. There are lots of people who don't like former President Goodluck Jonathan. There are lots of people who don't like President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So I am just saying that I'm going to speak for myself now. I am not in her party. I don't know the politicking that is going on over there in the UK. I don't know what exactly were their expectations that she did not meet. So I'm just going to say this. If she didn't meet the expectation, then they have no right to, maybe they don't want to trust her. That's fine. That's on them. If she did, if there are 46% of people who feel that she still has something to offer, then fine. It's as though you're coming to the PDP and you're trying to say, okay, but Peter Mba is the governor of Enugu State. He has done this and done that, but he's still having issues with the PDP. And because of that, you're going to say Peter Mba has not been doing well for Enugu State. It's just politics, right? Anything happens.
So let me just ask this final question. Now, they will be having the Conservative Party will be having their conference very soon. Do you think that Kemi Badenoch will utilize that momentum to regain control in the party? I mean, maybe try to butter up the people in her party to see if she can regain control in the polls.
If she is going to regain control of her party or try to turn things in her favor, it should have happened before the conference.
Okay.
It is not going to take one day conference or how many days conference to reshape people's thinking or to convince them that you are the best person for the job. That should have started the first day you assumed office. It should have started way before now. So if there's going to be anything, it's just people already have their minds made up. So it's not just going to be a long speech, well written, grammatically correct, that is going to convince people. It is the things that you have done, your deeds and your actions.
Okay, well said. Now let's move over to the story. We'll still see how it unfolds after what's it called, the conference. Now, the second story, in a surprise diplomatic move, the government of Mali has announced that U.S. citizens will now have to deposit up to $10,000 before they can get a tourist or business visa. Now, observers say this could be Mali's way of pushing back against Western influence or signaling its shifting alliances towards Russia and BRICS nation. But many are calling it a self-inflicted wound, warning that it could kill tourism, scare off investors, and damage relations with Washington. So what's really behind this? Is Mali asserting independence, or is it isolating itself? And should we expect more African nations to start using visa policies as a form of political statement? So these and more are things that we are going to find out. Now, we are aware that the US always comes up with, policies of either deporting how many Nigerians or how many Africans, or even one policy or the other that affects the Nigerian. It might be Nigerian investors or even Nigerian, businessmen and students. They come up with, every single policy every single time. And it's more like one African country is coming up this time to be like, you are not the only one that can actually come up with policies. We can as well come up with policies. And then they are trashing this in their faces, that before you visit my country, that you have to deposit up to $10,000 before you are even given a visa. Sharon, let me hear you. Do you think that this is actually a way, a clapback and more like revenge against U.S. policies?
Thank you for that question. I just think that when you want to fight, when you're going to the battlefront, right?
I think I know where your word is going to.
If you're going to the battlefront and you are facing an enemy that has, let's say, 10,000 soldiers and you have 5,000, you are in no place to bargain or negotiate. Maybe Mali knows something we don't. Maybe there is something that they have that they're holding ransom. Maybe like Nigeria, they have oil.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is exactly, but they must have for them to come out and make such bold law and such bold proclamation. So I am just going to speak from the perspective that I believe that they are smart enough to know that if you are going to face off the #1 world power, you should have something that you are using to fight them. And if that is tourism, then fine as good. It means that you have nothing to lose when US retaliates, because most times we've seen this back and forth and US would always retaliate. Now, I'm just saying that is great. It's amazing. It's a good self-esteem booster. But at the end of the day, they should make sure that this transcends more than self-esteem and trying to fight back and trying to have the last word. If it will not benefit them economically, politically, then they cannot continue. It does not make sense for them to continue. I just think that when you want to fight your battles, you have to be very smart about it, and you have to pick it well. Don't go and start fighting a battle that you cannot continue. Now, it might be because you said something about them siding with BRICS nation and siding with Russia. If there is a bigger plan in picture, then I'm up for it. I want to see how all of that unfolds.
Exactly. We'll see how it unfolds. And I wanted to add this, so long as this will not affect their economy, because a lot of people that are coming into their country are investors, and most of them are equally tourists. Now, for you to tour or visit a certain place in maybe African countries, you have to pay a certain amount of money, and that is a form of them generating their own revenue locally. You understand? So if they are certain that this will not affect them economically, then maybe we'll see how, you know, this will pan out at the end of the day. But like I mentioned earlier, do you think that other African countries should actually utilize this opportunity to clap back at, you know, the US for the robust policies they come up with every single time?
And I will say
especially
the same
Nigeria
thing that I've said before. If you're going to a battle, right, and you are not as prepared as your enemy, you better act right. See, you're talking about African countries. Me, I'm talking to Nigeria. I'm begging you people. Please, we know where we are as a nation. I'm not saying this to incite fear or whatnot. The other time they came up, they gave us, they increased the tariffs on exportation and all of that. And Tinubu came out to say that they are unfazed and all of that. We didn't really see them coming to retaliate or do anything out of the ordinary. It's just at the end of the day, because these are sovereign states, they would always want to maintain that sovereignty. They would always want to maintain that front that we are in charge and we really are independent and we don't depend on any other country, whether you are world power or whatnot. They don't do that. So I get it. But I'm saying, look beyond the ego. Think about your citizens first. So, so other African countries, if you want to emulate Mali, fine and good. If it's Nigeria, I beg. Because me, I don't have any other country. Please think about it very well.
Yeah, exactly. Let them consider their citizens first before, you know, all this. But I think we'll have a short break. And when we're back after this short break, we will be breaking down a lot of juicy stories here on Active Citizens. The show still remains Acidi Hot. See you after the break.
November 2025. The future of Anambra State in the next 4 years will be determined as we'll be electing our next governor. That's what I present to you guys this governorship debate. That is not your regular kind of governorship debate. This is Voices Beyond the Front Line, where you get to stay in one room with the governorship candidates and hear them talk about their manifestos, the plans, and their targets. You get to sit and hear them talk. You get to ask them questions and get clarified. And by so doing, you can easily dictate who you want to elect on the election day. Right? This is amazing, I know. So join us at Hollywood Event Center on the 24th of October, 3 p.m. Let's hear these men talk and make the choices we deserve.
Active Citizen Farms, turning waste into wealth. Every farmer knows the struggle of the rising feed costs, wasted produce, and shrinking profits. But what if the solution has been right under your nose? In fact, in nature itself. At Active Citizen Farms, we unlock the secret of the black soldier fly larvae, tiny creatures with a big impact. Our maggots, pre-pupae and pupae, are packed with natural protein, giving your fish, chicken, pigs, and turkeys the healthy boost they need to grow faster and stronger. The impact you'll see: healthier livestock that grow quicker and resist disease. Lower feeding cost, so your money stays where it belongs, in your pocket. Cleaner fats, as waste is recycled into valuable feed. instead of rotting away. Bigger harvests and higher profits, giving you the power to expand your farming business. But we don't just supply, we walk the journey with you. Through hands-on training, we show farmers how to harness this simple innovation, turning everyday waste into a steady stream of feed and income. This is not just about farming, it's about food security, sustainability, and prosperity. By choosing Active Citizen Farms, you're not only feeding your animals, you're feeding Africa's future. Active Citizen Farms, smart farming, healthy animals, prosperous farmers. Active Citizen Farms, unlocking the power of black soldier fly larvae, turning maggots into money.
You're welcome back to Acide Hot right here on Active Citizens, and the show is still Acide Hot. Make a reminder now. Let's move over to our third story for today. Now, our African bad girl and Afrobeat queen Tiwa Savage is setting the record straight after being accused yet again of not collaborating with other female artists. She posted a fiery Instagram story saying, "Tomorrow they will say I don't like other females, but where are those people when I drop records with them?" Tiwa then backed her words with proof, a collage of collaborations with powerhouses like Ira Star, Waje, Asha, Efia, Amari, Becca, Simi, and Miss V. So is Tiwa just defending her legacy or calling out a deeper bias in the industry? And why does it seem that female success stories in Afrobeats always have to fight false narratives? Now, this particular story, I watched one of her interviews where they were asking her, why is it that Nigerians are saying that she is not promoting or supporting other artists, or even trying to, sign any upcoming artists. And she clapped back by saying that she has been supporting a lot of artists, that she has collaborated with a lot of female artists. But the problem there is that why is it that when she collaborates with them, that nobody or people hardly kind of make the video go viral? And that was, for me, was a huge and deep, it carried huge and deep meaning. I'm like, okay, for me, I felt like she wasn't supporting the female folk. And this question I want to ask you, Sharon, do you think that Tiwa Savage, because according to her now, she has come to, debunk the fact that she has actually been, or she has not been collaborating with other female artists. So I want to ask this question. Do you think that female in the industry, musical industry, mostly like the female folks, they face this kind of criticism that they don't collaborate with other female artists than the male folks in the industry? I don't know if you get the question correctly.
Definitely, and that's my answer. Definitely, the females in the music industry, especially in Nigeria with Afrobeats, we have constantly heard things like they don't collaborate with other females. That's a given. But on the Tiwa Savage matter specifically, I would say, in all honesty, Tiwa Savage supports female artists offline, not with records, like she claims. So she gave us the list of people that she has collaborated with. How many records are there? Is it just one? So one for each. That's what I'm just trying to clarify. Is it one with Ira Star, one with Amare, one with Asha? Like, how often? Well, I think
she actually collaborates more with other female, artists, more than any other female artist in Nigeria.
That was not the question you asked me.
Okay.
The question you asked me was if Tiwa Savage collaborates with other female artists in Nigeria, and my answer is she does that offline. In the sense that when she goes for interviews, she is always supportive, and I think her favorite is Ira Star at this point, because she says that she sees in Ira Star a younger version of herself, but the more confident version of herself in Ira Star. So when she goes for interviews, she's always open about her love for these artists artists, Thames, Ira Star, what have you, she is super supportive of them. But when we come musically, we see more collaborations of her with the male folks in the industry, to be very honest. The songs that she says that we trend or that people do not trend when she collaborates with other female artists, when you look at it, it is not really our responsibility to trend your songs, because people trend what they relate to. They trend what they like. Because when you say, for instance, let me use a music of hers that went viral, somebody's song Go Find Me One Day. She did a remix, right? Who did she remix that song with? She could have easily picked a female artist.
Was it Roger or Spyro?
She could have easily picked, exactly. She could have easily picked a female. I'm just saying that when you have the spotlight on you or on your music, who do you mix it with? Who do you remix it with? So I would just say that it would seem, for me personally, that I don't think she has any problem with anybody actually, or I don't know if she does, but offline she's more supportive than she is when it has to do with her music. Okay,
but do you think now that she has come out to, you know, release a lot of artists that she has collaborated with, that this will kind of shut down this debate about the whole she doesn't do collaboration with other artists?
For real? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think it would take one post to change that narrative, because there's no smoke without fire. There is something that made people start saying that in the first place. Let's not also forget the back and forth that she has with Shei. We don't know what exactly prompted all of that.
She said she doesn't have a problem with her.
Yes, but it happened, and people saw that. And you know, when there's something about impressions, right? This is the impression that people have, and until we start seeing something different, it will not take one Instagram story post to change that.
All right, well said. Well, let's move over to our last story for today. Now, tragedy struck in Katsina as a Nigerian Customs Service officer identified as Superintendent Lawal Toko was found dead in a hotel room after allegedly spending the night with 3 women. Reports say the officer checked into Mojani Hotel, and by morning, hotel staff found him lifeless. Authorities also discovered empty sachets of unidentified substances in the room. The 3 women, Hadija, Aisha, and Hafsat, have been identified and are being questioned by the police. The body has been moved to the Federal Medical Center in Katsina for autopsy. Now the question here is, was this foul play? Was it a setup or just a tragic recklessness? Now this particular story, Sharon, I know we talked about yesterday, people with, you know, public, what's it called, brands, or people that have gone so far to come, you know, to gain a particular stand in the society, and how they should conduct themselves morally, because a lot of people are looking up to them, and whatever they do, people will definitely see it, and it's more like they are more like a reflection of the institution that they represent. Now we are seeing this case of this customs service officer. He's dead. I commiserate with the family, but at the same time, I'm kind of, do you think that these public officers or these people that hold high standard offices in government and maybe entire industry should try as much as possible to place, you know, some restrictions on these you know, maybe all this what do they call it, these people with positions in the society?
To a large extent, yes, but also I think there should be a boundary, right? So I understand, as someone with a public image, you need to have a certain level of decorum. It was yesterday we were talking about Fina and the way she conducted herself with that fight and all of that. Now, for someone with this level of position in the customs office to see him dead in this unfortunate way, I won't really say it's a moral issue. So what you do behind closed doors is none of my business, and it shouldn't be yours too. As long as he did what he was supposed to do, he conducted his duties, he did not siphon money, He did not come out to publicly disgrace himself. What you do behind closed doors really should not be my business. He's not contesting for any political position. It's mostly when these are politicians, they can use this against you because there's a certain image. You have to be able to man your home. I'm now talking about Fidelity and what you do and all of that. So there's a certain image. But if you are just someone that has a big position in a certain industry, I don't really care what you do privately. So what I'm going to say is I can't really say much until the autopsy results is out and we can see what actually killed this person. They said there were unidentified substances. Was he trying to get high? Was it drugs? I don't know. Was it BP? Because people don't walk around and they don't know how high or how low their BP is, and they engage in some strenuous activities that will end up leading them to the grave. This is not the first time we are going to see something like this. So until that autopsy result is out, I can't really say much on that.
Okay, in addition to that, I think that all these people that hold, you know, some certain standards in the society, I mean, hold positions in the society, that they should try as much as possible. I know maybe this could be your private life, what you do outside the office that you represent does not matter, but I think it really do matters. Celebrities, this is shining torch to how you should represent the brand that maybe gave you the platform, or represent the brand that you are working for. And for the police officers, I think maybe we should do more, because a lot of young genes are coming up and they're looking up to you. Some of them might want to be a police officer, and them coming up to see something like this tomorrow might actually demoralize them. At the end of the day, I think we should try as much as possible when we move out of our place of work to still try as much as possible to conduct ourselves. Now, from politics to diplomacy, entertainment to tragedy, these stories show how power, pride, and perception shape our world every single day. I would like to appreciate you, Sharon, for always doing this with me every single time on Active Citizens. God bless you. And to our technical team, thank you so much for always keeping it locked down in every of our show. We see you, we love you, and we appreciate you. And to you who is watching me right now, thank you for always tuning into our station every single time. But if you're yet to follow us on all our social media platforms, please follow us across all social media platforms at Active Citizens. And you can find me on my private page on Facebook at Oji Sophia, and on Instagram at Miss Solex. Sharon, you?
Sharon and Chiku across all social media platforms.
Ngwana, now we'll see you in the evening for Active Citizens Parliament. Do have a wonderful afternoon.